Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad. This is my channel Ambiment. Welcome to another Metal Earth Premium build video. You've already seen by the title, today we're going to get started on the Metal Earth Premium Series ISS, or International Space Station. This is a kind of long, complex build, and what I've decided to do is treat it like I would an MU Transformers build, where I'm not going to sit down and do the entire thing and then make videos. I'm going to find stopping points along the way and go ahead and put out, edit and compose and put out that particular section. To this point, I've started this build. As you can see, I'm not finished with it as of the recording of this right here. I've gotten up to step 19. So this video is going to cover from start, step 1, all the way up to 19 and stop at that point. Then I'm going to get back to building and we'll go from there. I don't know exactly how many build videos it's going to be at this point. We'll take it one step at a time. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's go over the table, open this up. I mean, do the part where I did open it up, see what's inside, and get started putting it together. Alright, let us open up the packaging for the International Space Station. It feels a bit heavy. Maybe, no, here we go. Let's say I might have to actually go get scissors for this. Nope, I'm going to tear it like I always do. Child getting into a Christmas present. Ooh, we have stuff. We have one sheet, two sheets, piece of paper for protection, train, 3 sheets, and I'm going to pause while the train passes. Okay, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper for the instructions. I'm going to start with the one that has the Metal Earth logo. For people who have not built Metal Earth models before, or maybe new to the Premium series, I'm going to go over the instructions as briefly as I can. If this is a model you're starting with, that may not be the best of ideas. This one looks to be a little bit more complex, but I'm not going to say don't do it. I'm just going to say be very cautious and consider, if this is your first model, consider building something a little simpler first to get a feel for it. Alright, we open this up to the first page here. We've got the Metal Earth logo, QR code, and website that you can go to see a 360 view. I don't know if it's up right now. Haven't checked. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Here's a line drawing of the model, and here is like a key and whatnot. You've got a sample part here with notation. This is actually kind of a little news. Let me turn this over and read it. Consider these engraved stripes as supporting features for the bin. So that's actually new text I've never seen before. So you've got, and this is something that's often confusing, what's the engraved side? The back side of parts that are folded or curved have engravings to help support that curve and make it easier, that bend. And that's sort of indirectly saying that. But over here we have fold lines, tabs, where is that even pointing? Tabs right there, and slots. Tabs go into slots, that's how these parts connect. And fold lines are, pre-scored areas where the parts more easily fold or curve. Here we have a legend down here. E, you see that pointing at a part or section that's the engraved or colored side. These are not the engraved side. This is the side that folds. This would be the engraved side, the side with detail. The non-engraved side, any sense of the non-engraved side, which in this sample would be this side of the part right here with the fold lines. The attention point. You see that's usually trying to get your attention about an alignment issue. Like you got to put this tab in this slot or things won't line up, or this doodad needs to be hanging off in this direction when the two sides come together, or it won't align. Something like that. And if sometimes it'll have text with it that explains why, but a lot of times it doesn't, and that's usually an alignment issue. Blue circle and green triangle. Been around since the start of Metal Earth as far as I know. Blue circle next to a connection point means to insert a tab and fold it 90 degrees. Green triangle means to insert a tab and twist it 90 degrees. And I don't see an example right here, but you'll see that. So the folded tabs, just real simple. You put the tab in the slot, you fold it over. The twisted ones, you twist them and they create like a knot or a knuckle that keeps the part from coming back apart. The twisted ones are more secure. but not as clean looking. And below that, we have the start of the assembly steps, starting with part 1. We find, we start by finding part 1 on sheet C. Well, we need to slide over here to page 2 because this is where the outline of the metal sheets are. I'm going to grab this one, just one of these sheets, and see which sheet. Looks like this is sheet A, maybe, or is it sheet B? Oh, I think this is sheet B. So this is an outline of this sheet. There's an outline for all 3. It's labeled as sheet B. You can kind of see that the parts line up, the outline parts. You'll notice, while this is obviously colored, some of the parts are shaded in and some are not. The shaded in parts are duplicate parts. So let's see, what is pointing at the purple here? It's hard to tell. I can't quite tell upside down what number is pointing at this purple. It's up here. So 99 is pointing at this long purple section. Well, that long purple section, that one, this one, they're all the same part. They're all part 99, and they'll be referenced by A99, but you'll find them on different sheets. And that does mostly simplify things, 'cause it makes it easier to find duplicate parts and know that they're duplicate, because this part is somewhat similar to maybe this part but wider, and you'd probably be able to tell it apart, but the fact that it's color is going to make it easier. Duplicate parts, there's another similar part to that up here. But otherwise, the parts are numbered. The sheets are labeled A, B, and C. So when you go back over here and see part 1 is on sheet C, you'd come find sheet C, find part 1, clip it out, and this is pointing at the part unfolded. Down here is the yellow bit, and the circular line around it is indicating that that part gets curved and the tab gets inserted and folded over. And then we slide over here and the outer edges get folded under, and there's more tabs to fold over. Slide over here and this whole end assembly gets flipped down at 90 degrees. You slide over here and it's indicating to do a 45-degree twist on those solar panels. You slide over here and that's the end product. We come down here, we've got part 2, which is on sheet A. You go find that on sheet A, you clip it out. You got part 3 on sheet A, you got part 4 on B, 5 on sheet A, and this is like a sub-assembly down here showing you that this part folds into a box shape and then comes up here where it attaches to part 2, and you'll see that the A is facing up. I don't know that that's really relevant right here, but that's kind of an indication of how things align. Then that assembly attaches to the end of this part up here. B adds on here. The non-engraved side is facing away from the assembly, so make sure that you're assembling that correctly. A gets curved, or excuse me, part 5 gets curved like this, the tab folded over, you end up with that. That's a sub-assembly, and that comes up here, connects to the whole assembly, and you end up with that. And that's pretty quick rundown of how this goes. Once you get done with step 1, you normally go to the next page, but the next page has the instructions. So we go to the page after that, which would be 3, or step 2, step 3, step 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11, and then once you get to 11, you'll need to go back to the stack of paper, find the next sheet, which we can see right here. There's 12. That'll go on through. You open that up and continue on, and then you'll get to the next sheet, and you'll get to the next sheet. And once you're at the bottom of all of those sheets, you'll be done with your model. Let's take a moment to talk about tools. You're going to want some basic tweezers and or pliers to help bend and shape and manipulate the pieces of this model. And I've got a variety of things here that I use. Some precision tweezers, some more basic tweezers with different angles on the end, and I've got long nose pliers and flat nose pliers. I use the variety of these in my build. Pick up whatever tweezers or pliers you see fit. Maybe you have some around the house, maybe head to your local Harbor Freight, or look for something on eBay or online. Another basic accessory I feel that you're going to need is some sort of flush or side clippers to clip the parts out of the sheet. You can bend and twist them out, but you have a high risk of damaging parts. I've had a variety of different clippers. These are the ones I'm using right now. They're Plato. You can even use nail clippers from the store. They have some that cut at an angle. You can find clippers in all kinds of hardware stores or jewelry stores. Just find something to help you clip the parts out cleanly. Tweezers and pliers are going to get you so far, but there are a lot of curved and cone shapes in these builds, and there's a variety of things that you can use, and I've used a variety of things. You can find dowel rods at your local hardware store. You can find step mandrels at any jewelry shop or hobby shop. You can take dowel rods and sharpen them with a pencil sharpener to get cone shapes. I've even used marbles and beads to make rounded or dome shapes. I've gone so far as to even 3D print some of my own tools to help me with shaping. And if you're interested in these, see my description for my Etsy store, but you can find things around the house to help shape parts. I've used cheap drill bit sets, I've used medicine bottles, I've used glue sticks, I've used pens, pencils, I've heard of people using spoons. Find whatever you can to help shape these things, or go out and look at jewelry stores or craft stores for specialty tools to help you shape things. Some of the other probably more specialty tools that I've used in these builds, I've got some angled nose pliers, which are helpful for bending longer parts or parts in restricted areas, longer parts in restricted areas. I've got round nose pliers, which are good for shaping the edges of things, curving little bits and pieces. There are some other specialty jewelry making tools that people have used that I don't have, but you can find a lot of interesting things in the jewelry section of your craft store. So we talked a little bit about tools you can use, tools that I use. There's a lot of different options out there. I've got some of my basics that I start with sitting out here. I'm going to get this organized and ready to go, and we'll start putting this together. The solar panels fold over in half, and there doesn't seem to be a fold line, at least very little of one. My advice, use some sort of pliers or tweezers to hold the part right on the line or right by the fold to keep it from curving instead of folding. And after you get it folded over in half, there is one tab that wraps around and secures it.
I have already made my first mistake. I realized I put part 4 on backwards. Fortunately, a fairly easy fix. More solar panels to fold over. Interesting choice in design. The 2-part 6s form the 2 halves of this section. They fold in shape the same way, with the connection pieces curved in a half circle. Works pretty well. And here comes the fun part. Part 18 has several parts in one. It was a bit of a challenge shaping the different sections, especially the almost spherical section in the middle. I took my time and did my best. I originally bent out the tabs of part 20 thinking it would help the tabs line up with their slots. Later realized, with the way the two halves are curved, it made more sense to straighten those tabs so they point straight towards the next connection, or the slot, and bend the edge of the slots up to make the room. I used a combination of the angle pliers and flat precision tweezers to bend up the sides of part 21. The angle pliers were meant to bend the long parts easily and evenly, but the angle pliers are too thick to fold up both sides at 90 degrees, and that is where the precision tweezers came in. Why didn't I just use the tweezers for the whole thing? Well, I was worried they would not be strong enough to bend the entire part evenly, and that the angle pliers would start the bend kind of weakening the metal, making it easier to finish the bend with the pliers. Putting the curve in these two little bits was fun. One side bent far more evenly than the other. I believe there is a right way and wrong way to put these two together, though I could be wrong. The instructions show to bend the side bit down before attaching the next bit, part 22, but I suggest attaching 22 before bending down so you can still fairly easily get to those inner tabs to twist them or secure them. If it looks like this is coming together easily, I've edited out multiple attempts to get the two tabs to line up with their slots. It was a bit tricky sometimes. I should not have closed that up. Sometimes parts bend in shape just like they are supposed to, and sometimes they don't and warp. Part 25 is very much like Part 18. There are 3 different sections connected together that need to be shaped differently. The center part is the worst part, which falls into kind of a ball or a spearish shape. I did my best to bend the curve on all of the sections of that middle part and then roll it up into a circle or spear. These tabs were fun to get to. I had to open that flap up a bit to have access to attach the next part securely. For the record, I am not going to straighten up these solar panels until the end. I don't want to bend them back just to accidentally bend them over, straighten them up again, and do that repeatedly until the delicate parts break and fall off. As if I've accidentally bent it out of shape once, I'll probably do it again. The tiny little dishes of part 30 and 31. I used round-tip jewelry making pliers to shape them the best I could. They're not perfect, but it'll work. Definitely folded these tabs so I can continue to shape the cylinder. I was really expecting part 39 to form a more normal, straight cone shape, but it's a bit angled, more so than the drawing indicates in the instructions. Don't forget to bend up the tabs. The center part is a little flat in one place because of attaching part 42. I flexed the middle a little bit and got it to fit. And I'm almost 3 hours into the build at this point. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm stopping. This is going all the way up to step 19, which is a good amount of the build, but there's quite a bit left to go. I'm going to pick up in part 2 where I left off here. I'm still not sure how many parts it's going to be. If I had to guess, I'd say at least 3. Maybe more, doubtfully less. We're going to take it one step at a time. Going to work on it some more. When I get to a good stopping point, you know, if I've acquired enough build time or at least enough video edited time, we'll put out another section, or I'll put out another section, and we'll just see how it goes. So feel free to build this with me. Of course, once I'm done with all the pieces, I'm going to do a overall review video, which I imagine is going to be a pretty big review, because at this point we're dealing with complex parts that are 3 different sections in one piece that you have to shape the 2 ends in kind of a cylinder shape and fold up ends and whatnot, and the middle piece is like a spear. But yeah, it's interesting and it's challenging and not something I'd want to start with, but so far we are pretty much on the level where it says, like, we're not all the way down here in the dark red of hard, but it's definitely challenging. Anyway, I'm gonna quit rambling. Oh yeah, let me show you what I've got so far. It doesn't seem like that much, but there is a lot in all of these pieces. And before you start in the comments about, are you going to straighten things up? No, I'm not yet. I did mention this in the narration. You know, these solar panels are definitely out of whack. They're pretty thin connections there, so I'm not, and I've said this before with other builds, when it comes to antennas and thin connections, you're going to accidentally bump them and knock them over as you build. At least I always do. And if you straighten it up every time and then you're still building the model, there's a good chance you're going to bump it again. And then if you straighten it up and then bump it again, eventually you're going to work the part back and forth enough, it's just going to snap off. And I have had that happen. So no, those solar panels that are really out of whack right there, not messing with them intentionally until I'm done with the build. I can see myself, once this is all done, coming back several times trying to bend things into the shape that they're supposed to be, and just trying to get it all straightened up. I can see that happening several times after I'm done with the build, because I'll come back again and go, no, that's still not straight, and I'll do the best I can and walk away and come back again. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to straighten anything up until the very end of this build, unless I have to connect something else. I'll leave it at that. We'll see you in part 2 when that comes around. I got to get back to building. Actually, I got to get to editing. And anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for continuing to support this channel. Thank you from Metal Earth for sending me this model, because I believe this one was sent as kind of a belated birthday present. So thank you very much. As always, keep on keeping on.